Hello, I'm the Media Wiz, because one art form wasn't enough, and, this was a movie. And, okay, I thought that went out for a minute. Yeah. Okay, so I guess I might as well say why I'm doing this. The reason I'm not going to be doing a full review on this movie is just because two different reasons. One, I thought it'd be best if I just get my thoughts out right now instead of going back later and doing a review. And secondly, that kind of leads into it, is because the last time I tried doing a full review of a movie like this, which was the Equestria Girls movie, the first one, when I did a review of that, it got taken down for copyright. So yeah, not gonna be really planning on doing a full in-depth review of this movie. There are other movies I want to be doing from this year as full reviews next year. The two big ones on my plate are Captain Underpants, the movie, and Stephen King's It. I'm going to be doing those as full reviews in the future. There's another movie that I want to do a vlog on, similar to this. I'll eventually get around to it, but for now, I'm going to be just doing, I'm going to be doing a vlog on this just to get it out the way. Alright. Movie, it was fine. That's the way I could put it. It was fine. I didn't really think it was great. You know, there was definitely a lot of cliche stuff about it. Stuff I didn't really care for. It was fine. There was definitely stuff that I did like. Here's my mentality when I went into this. I went into it, I didn't want to be a fanboy. I didn't want to walk in just going, oh my god, greatest thing ever. I didn't want to be like that. And I also didn't want to be the kind of person who walks in overly critical and going, oh, this is dumb, this is stupid. I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want to be either. I didn't want to be a snarky critic, but I didn't want to be a drooling fanboy. So I walked in just expecting a movie. A movie, and if the movie was entertaining, then it did its job. If it sucked, then I would point it out. And if there's stuff I didn't care for, then I would also point it out. And if there was stuff that I did like, I'd point it out. So, yeah, we're going to be dissecting in a vlog. So here we go. The overall plot, you could basically get it from the trailer. There is the Storm King, played by Liev Schreiber, who is he is the main villain of the movie. They build it up as Tempest, who is the unicorn who has a broken horn. The trailers try to make it that she's the main villain, which she essentially is for, like, I think the first half. But eventually when the Storm King shows up in person in front of Twilight and all of her friends, then he becomes the main villain. And also, yeah, you can tell from the trailer that if Tempest was like an inverse of Twilight, she has this sidekick guy, I forget his name, he is played by Ant-Man's best friend, and he likes cake and pie. That's his running gag. Sometimes it's funny, other times it kind of isn't. So, overall, the Storm King sends out his people, and Tempest is like his highest, I guess, second in command, potentially. The reason that Tempest is working with the Storm King is because she doesn't trust ponies. She doesn't like ponies because, surprise, surprise, very similar to Starlight Glimmer, who doesn't show up in this movie. I want to point that out. So there's no Starlight. Very similar. When she was a kid, she had an incident where she came across an Ursa Major trying to get a ball back because it went into the cave. She came out with a broken horn and a scar on her face, and her friends abandoned her. So then she just kind of left. As a kid, she just left her family, and she went off and became evil. And of course, you know, by the end, she's going to get redeemed. At first, I was a little hesitant because the way they handled Starlight's redemption, just right off the bat, the season 5 finale, I was like, don't know if I really like that. And it was very rocky in season 6. Season 7's making progress, but thankfully, I think they did a little bit better of a job because they show that her alliance with the Storm King, he eventually betrays her because at the end, all he wants is eternal storm because he's the Storm King, obviously. I thought about this when I was watching. I was like, okay, so let's see. Nightmare Moon wanted eternal darkness, Discord wanted eternal chaos, and this guy just wants eternal storm. Okay, awesome. Okay, whatever. And he brings on a giant tornado at the end, which has to be defeated. But as for that's all later. As for the main plot, the main 6 end up getting swept away after a huge attack on Canterlot, which was supposed to be holding a huge event for Twilight as a princess. That they were going to have cakes and they were going to have dancing and they were going to have Sia show up, and Sia does show up. She says some things. She sings her song at the end. We'll get to that. So the main 6, while running away, end up getting swept away, and Twilight making out just a little bit of what Celestia said before The princesses ended up getting turned into... They end up getting frozen. I don't know if they turn into marble or what. They turn into something. The point is that they're frozen, so we now have a reason for why the princesses can't do anything. So yeah, it's kind of like the season 4 finale on steroids. So the main 6 end up getting swept away, and they're kind of on the outskirts of Equestria. And Twilight ends up mishearing it as we need to go to the land of the hippos, but it's actually the land of the hippogriffs, as we later find out. And there is a plug for Hungry Hungry Hippos. Technically, it's not really a plug per se. It's a pun. It was kind of funny, but at the same time, I was like, oh, they did that. I'm like, that's a plug. It's like it would have been as bad if they went like if they're at like a port in Starboard or whatever. Hey, look, it's a battleship, and like it's something. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like, what are we? Some kind of Suicide Squad? It's kind of like that, but it's just like. Pinky's like, says something about like, it's like, hippos, I hear they're pretty jolly for their size. You know, they can be pretty hungry. Hungry, hippos. I'm like, good plug, Hasbro, for one of your products. Thankfully there wasn't that aside from that. There was a bunch of other kind of stuff like that, where the puns were just like, eh. And also, they, in the same sequence, they try to have characters say, My Little Pony, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I think that's so cringeworthy. That is awful. It was just like, oh, that is such a forced plug for the name. There's one kind of funny pun, because you know me, I usually don't like puns, but there's one where Tempest has to get a call, as they call it, from the Storm King, and eventually he ends up breaking off like his last little line before he hangs up, I guess. And the Ant-Man best friend assistant guy is like, says something like, it's like, bad spell reception. Oh man, that was like puns like that. I just went, oh no. Yeah. But the one thing I will say about the movie was this, and I was thinking about this when I saw the trailer for the first time. Are they going to make it more epic? Are they going to have it be more than just, hey, it's like the Equestria Girls movies. There was no reason that the first 2 movies need to be in theaters. And, you know, that's why with the 3rd and 4th movie, they eventually just said, screw it. And the 3rd one went to TV and 4th one went to Netflix. This one, however, they do up the ante. And I think that, you know, with Beavis and Butthead Do America, the South Park movie, the SpongeBob movies, I think I said the same thing in the Ed, and Eddie Big Picture Show review. But if you're going to do a movie based on this kind of thing, if you're going to make a movie based on a, not just a TV show, but a franchise in general, you have to make it somewhat epic. And I did like the fact that we got to see parts of Equestria, or parts even beyond Equestria, because they even say at one point, like, we're not in Equestria. And it's, yeah, we get to see a bunch of other creatures that aren't equine. We get to see Catman, or as he's called, Capper. He was a pretty good character. I like his voice actor. I liked his design. I liked his personality. He was like literally a cool cat. Who thankfully he does not save the kids. It did not become that movie. We get bird pirate people, and they have a pretty good song. I don't remember all the words to the song. I remember it had the word awesome. And I couldn't help but think, the song's about being awesome, I couldn't help but just think, everything is awesome, from Lego Movie. So there was that. Trying to think, what other song? Well, okay, we'll get to the songs a little bit later. So, Capper at first tries to sell the main 6. Yeah, you heard that right. Tries to sell them to, like, this zoo owner pig man. I don't know. But he ends up getting his ass kicked. And, the main 6 are able to escape. They hop onto a boat that can fly. What do they call it? They call it an airship? I think that's what they called it. And Capper at first is ready to give them up, but then he thinks, well, they were nice to me, and I don't want to be a dick back, so I guess I'll just lie to this Tempest lady and say that they're going the opposite direction. But they end up getting caught because Rainbow Dash can't help but be awesome, and she did a Sonic Rainboom, which got their attention. So, yeah. But, so you're probably wondering what led to the Sonic Rainboom. Well, the main 6 stow away onto a ship that flies, and this is helmed by our bird pirate people. And at first they're like cargo delivery people for the Storm King, but eventually all of them are just like, you know what, like after Rainbow Dash sings a song, or at least starts singing, they're like, you know what, let's go back to being pirates. That was so much more fun. We did what we want and we kicked ass. They don't say that, but we did awesome crap back then. So they're now pirates. They're now officially with the main 6. Tempest shows up. The main 6 have to hide, and Twilight ends up activating a latch, which drops underneath them, and they go falling through the sky. And this part was actually kind of cool. As they're falling, Twilight creates, with her magic, a bunch of stuff that fell out of the cargo with them, and it was like a wood crate and some string, some rope, whatever, like a sheet, and with Spike's fire breath, they end up creating a hot air balloon. I thought that was pretty creative. That was like definitely a little creative sequence for them. At this point, they come across the land of the hippogriffs, which at first seems abandoned, but then turns out that they're actually just hiding in the water, and they use a spell to turn them into sea ponies. And no, we do not get Shoop Shoopy Doo. Instead, what we do get was a pretty great song, and I would say this is probably my favorite song in the movie, next to Tempest's villain song, which we'll get to that a little later. And first MLP queen, who's not a villain. You know, we've had Queen Chrysalis, but finally we have a queen in one of these movies who's not evil. I thought that was kind of funny. So there's that, and she has a daughter who is a princess, and she's very peppy, and she's kind of like Pinky in a way, and she loves parties and stuff like that. She's a free spirit, I guess you could say. And Twilight defines a very divisive plan about stealing the pearl that turned them into sea pony creatures, and they'll use that pearl to defeat the Storm King. But she tells her friends to go show the sea ponies, you know, a fun time. Pinky, you can cheer everybody up. You cheer this princess up. You know, I'll be off doing my own thing. And yeah, they have a song, which I thought was really good. I think it's called One Small Thing, or yeah, something along those lines. And I thought it was catchy. It had like kind of a jazzy feel to it. I thought it was good. But Twilight gets caught trying to steal the pearl, and they are officially kicked out of the realm of the hippogriffs. And at this point in the movie, Twilight and her friends have a falling out, and that part, I don't want to say it was that tense, but it was actually kind of like, holy crap, that's, you know, it was like, because Twilight, you know, in blind rage says, I wish you guys weren't my friends. And it was like, holy crap. And immediately she feels bad about it, but her friends are like, we need time alone. You know, we have to, you can't take something like that back, like, immediately. We know you're sorry, but we gotta go. And so Twilight feels bad about what she did, as she should. And then she gets kidnapped by Tempest, but Spike is able to escape, and he runs to tell the main six, who are then joined by Capper, who shows up with the pirate bird people, and they're like, we're gonna help you. Oh, and also, Princess Stargaze, I think was her name. It was Princess Star something. Princess Star versus Forces of Evil. If only. Oh god, that would be awesome. But yeah, they're just like, they show up and they're like, you know what? You know, we'll help you. I mean, even the princess was like, it's like, yeah, I know my mom's gonna ground me, but I want to help you guys. And that pays off later. There's a joke later on in the movie where everything is saved and the queen shows up and it's like, Mom, everything's great again. Yeah, you're so grounded. And then she has this look like, oh crap. That was funny. So with our heroes assembled and Twilight is being taken by Tempest, here's where we get Tempest's sad backstory. And I was sitting there going, this is the same thing as Starlight Glimmer. Hopefully this doesn't suck. Again, I want to make this clear. I don't hate Starlight Glimmer in some of the newer episodes, but it definitely took a while for me to start liking her. It was a rocky road, to say the least. So yeah, Storm King finally gets his magic. He drains the magic out of the frozen princesses and Twilight. Yeah, and he uses his staff. They had a name for it, but the entire time I'm like, yo, call that the Staff of Sameness. Oh my god, that's a season 5 reference. So he now has the magic. He unleashes the giant tornado, which we mentioned earlier. Our heroes sneak in to the perimeter, which is obviously guarded by his storm people, who I thought looked like kind of a mixture of like gorillas and lions, kind of. I don't know. Like, he kind of, some people said he was like the Storm King's kind of like a replica of T-Rex, which I thought a little bit at first, but after seeing this movie, he looks like an evil version of Rafiki from The Lion King. I don't know about you, which some people said that about T-Rex when he was in his scrawny form. But yeah, he's like, that's what he looked like to me. So after the Storm King shows his true colors to Tempest, and Tempest is about to get swept away by the storm, Twilight does something nice and saves her before she can get swept away. She's like, no. Like, and that was, they're holding on with no hands. Hold on, is what Twilight says, and I'm like, how? She has no fingers. But yeah, I accepted it at that moment. I was like, whatever. You're talking horses, who cares? And so right there, they kind of established that Tempest is going to become a good guy. And the rest of the main six get in through Pinky's party cannon, which in this one is massive. Like, it's huge. Instead of like like in the show, it's just kind of like a regular wagon size. Here, it's massive. So that was something. But they end up getting shot out of the party cannon, up into the Canterlot Castle. They end up hitting the Storm King, whose staff ends up flying into a window pane. So now it's up to our heroes versus Storm King to try and catch it. Twilight and the Storm King end up getting swept away into the storm. At first, there was, okay, I gotta say this. There was one kid behind me in the theater who just said, "Is Twilight dead?" I couldn't help but just like laugh at how awful that was. It's like, holy crap. Like, obviously you know she's not going to be dead, but it's like the little kid's thinking that. I was so tempted to just like be like, yeah, Tempest is the no. Like, the Starlight Glimmer is going to be the new Twilight, the show from now on. So many people will be pissed at that. But of course, Twilight's okay. She uses the staff to turn off the storm. The storm's officially gone. But of course, Storm King's not, so he's about ready to kill Twilight by throwing the magic ball thing that they established earlier that's able to turn people into these marble frozen states, whatever. But Tempest, metaphorically, takes the bullet. But she also, like, holds on to the Storm King's arm, which transforms him solidized, I guess is the word. And I love it because he gets solidized, she gets solidized, but she's like separated from him for some reason. I thought they would like merge together or something, but he ends up falling and he just shatters on the ground. And I'm like, if there was blood in that, that would be horrifying. It's like, he's dead. He's not coming back. He's gone. But, Twilight uses her magic, and now Tempest is now a good guy. She's on their side. They use the magic to fix everything. You know, the storm is officially gone. Everybody is okay. Everything is awesome. Sia has her song. Everybody has their little moment. Everything is great. And, we end with the Sia song, segues into the credits. That's the movie. So overall, my final thoughts on the movie itself are... Is this for everyone? Absolutely not. Is this a perfect movie? No. Did I enjoy it? Sure. I wouldn't say I loved it. I would say I liked it. But I kind of have a similar feeling with the Equestria Girls movies, which I just thought were okay. I don't hate it at all. I do enjoy it. As a fan, I definitely see fans enjoying it, and I have to talk about the audience really quick soon, but... overall, I think this movie's fine. Little kids would like it. I don't think parents would suffer watching this. They'd probably groan at some of the dumb parts, which I groaned at. Like, as a fan of the show, I'm like, ugh. Like, those puns are just so bad. But overall, I don't think families... It's definitely a family movie. I think kids are gonna like it. I think parents won't hate it. Unless you really don't like it, which I wouldn't fault you if you did, if you're a parent and didn't like this. As for fans, I think the fans will enjoy it enough. Like, there's definitely enough for the fans. I mean, you got Derpy in there, so there's that one thing. And you got Fluttershy saying yay twice in the movie, so it's definitely a sign that they were looking out for the fans. Overall, I enjoyed it. I didn't love it, didn't hate it, just, it's a fine movie. Just fine for me. That's how I come away. It's fine. Alright, so really quick, I gotta talk about the audience, and I gotta talk about some of the trailers I got. So, we got... The best thing about the audience was there was not that many bronies, surprisingly enough. There were a lot of Pegasisters there, though. There was a lot of teenage girls who were loving the movie. There was a squad of them in the background, in the back of the theater, who were just sitting, and as soon as the movie ended, they just started clapping. And they loved it. And even when I was going to the car in the parking lot, they just started singing the theme song, and I couldn't help but join in. I was like, you girls clearly love this movie, and I'm not even going to try and stomp on your enthusiasm. I'm glad you guys liked it and had fun. But the kids, there were obviously a bunch of kids in the audience. They didn't really bug me. There was one part where, as soon as they introduced the main six into the movie, like, aside from Twilight, when they show off, the first one they show is Rainbow Dash. As soon as Rainbow Dash shows up on screen, there was a little kid who was like, "That's Rainbow Dash!" And then there was another part I remember where they're trying to get to the city with the hippogriffs, and at first it's like all desolate, and Rarity's having a moment where she's being a drama queen, of course, Rarity, and she's like all bummed out. She's like, let's just face it, the bad guys have won, like, we have lost. And then there's just one kid going, "No, Rarity." I didn't know why. That was, oh, whoop. There we go. First time that's ever happened. All right. So there's, yeah, that was funny. Just no, Rarity. That little kid. That was funny. Okay, but that's enough for the audience. You get it. The audience wasn't that annoying. As for the trailers, Duck Duck Goose, no. Jim Gaffigan is a duck, and he has to take two kids across the land to get them back to their family. Have you seen Are You My Mother? Or rather, have you read Are You My Mother by Dr. Seuss? It's that. There you go. It's that. God, what else was there? Coco by Pixar, which I want to see that. Coco looks genuinely good. Ferdinand, John Cena is a bull. All right. God, there was another animated one. What was it? I remember there was Daddy's Home 2, which I liked. I think the first Daddy's Home movie is fine. It's decent enough movie. When I saw Mel Gibson, I was like, oh God, no. Where is this going? But I gotta say, Mel Gibson was actually kind of funny in the trailer. That was actually shocking. And John Lithgow as Will Ferrell's dad, I thought was funny. Because he captures the kind of like overly comforting dad. And of course, Mel Gibson's a hard ass, which makes sense for Marky Mark's character. Oh God, The Star. That looks awful. That's gonna satisfy the Chris T. Ians of the world, I guess, but The Star looks terrible. It's the nativity from the point of view of the animals. And it has Tyler Perry. It's Christian families probably will enjoy it, but I'm a Christian and I'd say I'm not seeing that. Good job, Sony. As soon as I saw Sony, I'm like, what is this going to be? And then I was like, oh, great. It's this. That's coming out in November, too. There was one more. Wonder. Or was it Wander? It was one of those. Wonder or Wander. It's a movie about a kid who has plastic surgery, and of course he has to overcome it. And at school, he starts to make more friends, and it's all about on the inside. It looks like a good enough movie, good enough family film. It definitely looks motivational and inspiring. So I'm like, you know what? I can't really hate on this. This looks fine enough. I probably won't see it in theaters. I'll probably end up watching it later. But you know what? For what it's worth, it doesn't look like a bad movie at all. So there's that. One more thing. There was a short before the movie. Like, it looked like kind of Steven Universe-esque with the animation and the style. Like, it took place in space, and it was about a little girl who had like little bunny creatures. I noticed Dave Polsky was involved. I think he was the writer, which is interesting because Dave Polsky, I know, worked on MLP, and before that, I was more than positive worked on South Park. So there's that. The short was fine. It was a little weird because as soon as it pops up, it shows like My Little Pony short film, like it's like a still screen, like it's like a DVD menu, and then the short started. I'm like, the hell was that? I'm like, why didn't it just jump to the short? But the short was fine. It was cute, whatever. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this. Was my experience on My Little Pony the movie in theaters. So movie, fine, not great, not awful. Just I personally think it's just a fine movie. It's fine. It's fine. The audience, they were also fine. There wasn't a lot of annoying kids. There wasn't a lot of screaming. The ones that did scream out something, I thought was funny, and I thought that the teenage girls in the audience loving it was very endearing. You know, they clearly liked it. And the trailers, Coco looks good. I don't know if I'm gonna see Ferdinand. The Star looks awful. Wonder, I'm more than certain it's Wonder. That looks fine. Daddy's Home 2, that looks fine. But that's about it. Oh, and Duck Duck Goose looks awful. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on My Little Pony the movie. This was my experience, and I'll see you guys next time. My next video is obviously going to be a Mediaween review. And this is just my sort of obligatory vlog that I do in October that isn't related to Mediaween, so I felt the need to make the video about this. So yeah, there's that, and this video is done. So I'm the Media Wiz, because one art form wasn't enough, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.